You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point. Coming up on Focal Point, we'll show you one notable politician's reaction to the 50-year anniversary of Kennedy's death.
Tonight on Focal Point, we'll have the story of the development on Trowbridge and Harrison, which could completely redesign the entrance right off of 127.
And one of the most anticipated movies of the year is finally out. We'll have reactions coming up.
Focal Point starts now. Good evening, everybody. I'm Greg Monahan.
And I'm Alex Barhorst. Welcome to Focal Point. It's been half a century since President John F. Kennedy was shot from atop his convertible on November 22, 1963. While the young people on East Lansing's campus can't possibly remember that day, to some longtime Michiganders it will permanently be etched into memory. An iconic day in United States history will forever remain in the mind of former Michigan Attorney General Frank Kelly.
My deputy, Leon Cohen, he rushed up to me and he yelled out to me, Frank, Kennedy's been shot.
He remembers it all too well. For many, he was the one who delivered the bad news that Kennedy was dead.
I announced it to the office, my office in the Capitol, and I would say half the people start crying, and men and women start crying, and it was really a shock because here's this beautiful, handsome guy, and he disappears on you.
Kelly, a man close to the Kennedy family, remembers the former president like it was yesterday.
I must say the most impressive person that I actually ever met was John F. Kennedy. The dignity and the bearing and the charisma were all there, but yet he was just nice.
While students today might remember Obama's visit to Michigan State University, many don't know that JFK once gave a speech right here at the Michigan State Union. While the young people of East Lansing have heard many candidates speak about hope and change on campus, Kelly said there was no one who made you believe in change quite like Kennedy.
Everything about him, it gave you hope. There was hope for America.
While life goes on today, the nation paused for a moment when Kennedy was shot. Those who still remember him, like Kelly, might take the time to pause again.
And I knew Bobby and Teddy and all of them. They were all friends. Yeah.
Kelly served the state of Michigan for nearly 40 years and knew John F. Kennedy before he was even 30 years old.
And East Lansing is of course known as home to Michigan State University, but one real estate company argues that it's more than just that. Focal Point's Mara Thompson reports.
East Lansing, the small town known for housing Michigan State University, recently received recognition in a different light. Real estate company Mavoto named East Lansing the 8th best city in Michigan, and one East Lansing resident couldn't be more proud.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Rachel Levinson has been a lifelong resident of East Lansing and can't imagine living anywhere else.
When I got married, we loved East Lansing so much. It's pretty central. The college is right here, and the school district is excellent, and we plan on having kids someday. So we kind of planted our roots.
Even though residents are more than thrilled that their hometown was ranked 8th in the state, one city official doesn't feel the same way.
It's great that someone acknowledges we're a great city, but I kind of would have liked to see it be a little higher, so truth be told.
Components such as cost of living, education, and amenities factored into the calculations done by Mavoto. Lahanis is pleased with how East Lansing ranked in these categories and thinks that being a college town has a lot to do with it.
Something like the Broad Museum, and that's a connection between amenities and the university. A world-class art museum adjacent to our downtown, that never would have happened in a city this size if it weren't for the connection to Michigan State University.
Rachel also likes the diversity that Michigan State brings.
It's very community-oriented, so we just love it.
East Lansing ranked second on a scale of 1 to 50 for education. Therefore, Michigan State could be a big reason for East Lansing gaining this recognition. For Focal Point, I'm Mara Thompson.
This ranking is part of the nationwide series Mavoto is doing, and Michigan was just the second state to be ranked. And Michigan's 8th best city now has a new mayor. Councilmember Nathan Triplett took the oath of office after a unanimous vote from the city council this past Wednesday. Former Mayor Diane Gadaris decided to step down, but will take the position of Mayor Pro Tem. New council members were also inaugurated, and members of the East Lansing City Council say that they are looking forward to working together as a team to improve living in East Lansing.
A group of young cadets in Lansing took to the streets Tuesday to help make a walkable difference for Lansing residents. Focal Point's Erica Zazo has that story.
All right, let's move out.
Yes, sir.
14 cadets from the Michigan Youth Challenge Academy, a 22-week residential program for at-risk youth in Michigan, volunteered their time to survey the conditions of the sidewalks in Lansing.
Everyone got clipboards.
Did you find your map?
Yeah. We're out here surveying the sidewalks, looking for cracks and unlevel sidewalks so that people with visual disabilities or people in wheelchairs, stuff like that, they don't have issues when they're trying to walk down the sidewalk.
The Lansing Walkability Audit started in 2010 and is a project in partnership between the Mid-Michigan Environmental Action Council, AARP of Michigan, and the City of Lansing.
That's a pretty significant one. So we're at 2309.
What they're doing today is knocking out at least 2 full sections, which would take one volunteer 40 hours of work, minimum.
The cadets stopped, shuffled, and surveyed the Groesbeck neighborhood of Lansing, checking for sidewalk conditions that may be dangerous for residents who tend to stroll these streets.
It's important for the crews to note sidewalks that have cracks just like this one, so walking down the sidewalk will be done with ease.
Cracks, heave trees, slopes, sidewalk slopes.
Too many cracks. Some skateboarder could trip and hit their face.
And aside from learning a lot about sidewalks, the cadets had an eye-opening experience that showed what they may normally take for granted.
You know, it kind of gives our youth at the Challenge Academy kind of like something to think about, something that they didn't think about before.
And with the hard work and help from these cadets, the sidewalks of Lansing should be headed for a smooth future.
Woohoo! Way to go! Good job. Team awesome.
For Focal Point, I'm Erica Zazo.
The Lansing Walkability Audit wraps up this winter. Reports will be pulled from the data collected to figure out which sections of the city need the most work. For more information on the audit, visit midmeac.org. The streets of East Lansing are full of muck today, but none more than Albert Avenue. Albert was blocked off yesterday and today from Collingwood Drive to Orchard Street due to sewage problems. The workers dug into the street to replace the sewage lines and are applying new asphalt to the road. Maintenance workers said this type of problem happens fairly often around East Lansing's old sewer lines and old houses. The workers completed the project in just 2 days despite some unexpected challenges.
Well, we ran into some electric that was all encased in concrete, and we had to go up over that instead of through it like where it was supposed to go. We had to raise the sewer up to go over it.
Maintenance work is expected to be over by tonight, and the streets should be clear again by tomorrow morning.
An East Lansing grocery store on Trowbridge has strong roots in the community, but a new city plan might mean that it has to shut down.
Goodrich, to me, and I'm sure this is true of a lot of other people too, it's more than a store, it's a kind of community institution.
The grocery store Goodrich's has been a part of East Lansing for 77 years.
Every time you shop here, you meet some of your friends and acquaintances.
But soon, Goodrich's may be gone, and longtime patrons like Gladys Beckwith will have to find somewhere else to shop.
I don't understand the need for renovation, though. This looks to me like a very nice-looking store.
But a new proposal to renovate Trowbridge Plaza would make the area look more modern.
This area is really kind of the primary entrance to the city of East Lansing as well as Michigan State. So it is not surprising that a redevelopment project would be proposed.
The development would add a 5-story apartment complex and a new grocery store, which could force Goodrich's out. The proposed development could mean different things for different businesses within the Trowbridge Plaza. While it could signal the end for Goodrich's, right next door, the sub shop Hobie's is excited about potential improvements.
I took over this building 1.5 years ago, and it could use, a facelift.
Hobie's owner Jane Kleiman hopes a redesign will attract more attention.
I think it would be good for us because, right now in the evenings we're kind of slow because there's not a lot to come to here.
But that redesign might come at the expense of a community staple like Goodrich's.
There are many, many stores in the Lansing area that are fine institutions, but no place that has quite the same community feeling that this one does.
Now, nothing is finalized yet, so we will have to wait to see what the future holds for Goodrich's. And coming up next on Focal Point, MSU students discuss the premiere of a long-anticipated movie.
And we'll see what they're looking forward to most during the upcoming Thanksgiving break.
There are moments of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will. They've been called leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. They're also called Spartans.
Now, one of the most anticipated movies of the year premiered this week, and the dean of the MSU College of Communication, Arts, and Sciences has a new job. Alex is in now with an on-campus report, and he has those stories and more.
Thanks, Greg. Well, journalist Tom Rosenstiel spoke at the College of Communication, Arts, and Sciences Thursday on the future of journalism. Students packed into the auditorium in ComArts to hear how to become successful in today's developing media. He discussed the importance of technique and told students what they have to bring to the table when it comes to thinking like a journalist. After a thorough lecture, Rosenstiel opened the floor to questions, offering advice and wisdom from his years of experience in the industry. The dean of the College of Communication, Arts, and Sciences is leaving MSU and heading south. Pamela Witten has accepted the job as provost at the University of Georgia. Witten, who is one of 4 finalists for the job, said in a statement that she is deeply honored to join a university with the tradition and strong academic reputation of the University of Georgia. Witten is in her 5th year serving as Dean of ComArts, but came to MSU in 1998 as an assistant professor. She officially starts at UGA on February 1st. An interim dean will be appointed until a permanent replacement is found. And while Witten is leaving, Professor William Penn is returning after a controversy that went viral on YouTube earlier this year. The inappropriate rant caused a stir on campus from his choice comments about Republicans, specifically Mitt and Ann Romney. Penn returns to campus for the start of the spring semester on January 6th, teaching 2 small creative writing courses. MSU officials note that a faculty committee will continue to monitor the responsibilities of faculty members and the impact of social media in teaching and learning. Many MSU students lined up Thursday night to catch the midnight premiere of the Hunger Games sequel, Catching Fire.
The 75th Hunger Games!
The much-anticipated follow-up starring Jennifer Lawrence is expected to top the box office this weekend with showings locally nearly every hour. The movie is an adaptation of the best-selling book trilogy written by Suzanne Collins. Many MSU students just couldn't wait for the movie to come out.
Midnight premieres are just a lot of fun. There's just, you get all the excited people that are really excited to see it. So there's all that energy going on when you're there, and then everyone's like really excited, and everyone's like reacting the same way to everything, and it's great to be there for that.
And some lucky students got an early sneak peek Wednesday night as movie promoters picked MSU's campus for an advanced screening, beating out universities across the country in an online contest. And next week is Thanksgiving, and many are looking forward to a long weekend off. We asked MSU students what they are looking forward to the most.
For the last 2 years, I've had to work through Thanksgiving, so this year I finally don't have to work. I get to see my family for once, so that'll be nice.
I have 18 first cousins on my dad's side, so holidays are the only time I get to see them all.
I'm looking forward to seeing my family on Thanksgiving, not just driving to see one of them or 2 of them on this side of town or whatever, but everyone collectively at the same time.
Not waking up at 8 a.m. just because sleep's important.
Seeing my family, catching up, meeting all the new additions to our family, babies that have been born, and new spouses and things like that.
And pumpkin pie.
I'm looking forward to a Thanksgiving break myself, and that's all for this campus report. Over to Greg Monahan.
Thanks, Alex. Up next, we'll have the feature on the Spartan basketball star who was named Player of the Week, and the MSU football team is just a single win away from the Big Ten title game. I'll have those stories and more coming up next in sports.
What a victory for this team who's come so far. Now, she heaves it up. Important and good! Victor at the top, tries a 3. That's good!
The The Spartan basketball team is still undefeated on the season after a pair of home victories. The Spartans had a near stumble against Ivy League school Columbia University last week, just eking out a 62-53 victory. The teams were back and forth for much of the game before the Spartans were able to finally pull away in the last 2 minutes of the game. Adreian Payne led the way with 26 points and 11 rebounds, and Denzel Valentine came off the bench to put up 10 points for the Spartans. And things got a little easier for Michigan State just 3 days later, as Portland stayed close with the Spartans for the first half before Tom Izzo's team took control and ended up cruising to an 82-67 victory. Keith Appling had perhaps his best game as a college basketball player, scoring 25 points, dishing out 7 assists, and hitting all 5 of his shots from beyond the three-point line. Adreian Payne had another good game, scoring 19 points, while sophomore guard Gary Harris chipped in with 15 for himself. The win improved Michigan State's record to a perfect 4-0 on the season, including 3 wins at home. Coach Tom Izzo was upset with his team for much of the last 2 games, but was glad they finally put things together late.
We're definitely, nobody has to worry about us peaking in November. We haven't done that, and yet I thought we took a big step forward in the second half of that game.
One standout Spartan certainly brought the pain to the court last week, earning himself the title of Big Ten Player of the Week. Adreian Payne averaged 20.5 points and 7 rebounds per game, helping MSU to wins over Kentucky and Columbia last week. The senior center achieved a career-high 26 points and 10 rebounds, posting a double-double along with 3 blocks against Columbia. This is Adreian Payne's first career Big Ten Player of the Week honor. And the 9-1 Spartan football team travels to Northwestern this weekend to take on the Wildcats with hopes of securing a berth in the Big Ten championship game. The Spartans clinched at least a share of the Legend Division title last week with a convincing win over Nebraska, 41-28. Northwestern is 2 wins away from bowl eligibility, though, so Mark D'Antonio knows that his team will not have a cakewalk this week in Evanston.
Like I said, we got to handle success, we got to handle adversity. Going up there, I know how they play. We played them for 6 years. They've never taken a play off. They've never come and not been prepared. They've never played without emotion. They've never not executed. So every game's been an extremely tough game for us.
All it'll take is a combination of 1 Spartan win or a Minnesota loss in the next 2 weeks, and that will send MSU to the Big Ten championship game on December 7th in Indianapolis with Ohio State as their likely opponent. The Michigan State field hockey team earned a bid to the 2013 National NCAA Championship last week, but they did fall short in the second round of the tournament. Their spot in the tournament was the program's 9th appearance and first bid in the last 3 years. And the Spartans stunned Syracuse, beating the Orange 2-1 on their home turf, but then fell the next day to Connecticut 3-1. That was in the second round. It wasn't all bad news, though. Junior forward Abby Barker was a first-team All-West Region pick, and Kristen Henn and Becky Stiles were second-team All-West Region selections. That's what's happening in sports, and I'm Greg Monahan.
More than 200 figure skaters have descended on the area this week for a major competition. The U.S. Figure Skating Sectionals made a stop here in East Lansing with several local skaters taking the ice. The performers had time to warm up on the ice before their actual skate and get last-minute advice from their coaches. They are competing as individuals and pairs at novice, junior, and senior levels. Hopefuls are skating with one thing in mind, a championship title at this year's national competition in Boston this January.
And finally this evening, the holiday season officially kicks off tonight in Lansing with the annual lighting of the state Christmas tree. Thousands braved cool temps for the 29th annual Silver Bells in the City Festival to see the lighting ceremony, along with a light parade, musical groups, and festive fireworks. Stores stayed open late for folks to get an early jump on their shopping, and the familiar sound of the Salvation Army bells rang throughout the streets. Now, I've actually never checked it out, Alex, but I might have to go down this year.
Well, lots of people out there. Well, that's it from us tonight here at Focal Point. We'll leave you now with the sounds of the Silver Bells.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.